Welcome to the Glenn and Aaron Show. I'm Glenn Allen.
I'm Aaron Salentine.
Today we're going to talk about how to finally get unstuck and start moving on the really big goals that you've had in your life. And we're going to give you 3 tips right off the bat. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about our first tip.
Let's do it. So the first tip is what we call front-loading the pain. So most things in life that we want to go after that we haven't done before, that we're not skilled in or experts in, have a series of uncomfortable moments in the beginning, right? You're uncomfortable because it's something new. You're uncomfortable because you have a fear of failure. You're uncomfortable because there's possible rejection. And so a lot of times that pain that we experience, that discomfort, causes us to put off doing the things that we want to do. So I'll give you an example. I was recently at my gym and there was this piece of equipment that I wanted to use, but I've never used it before. Thigh Master, exactly right. I actually did use that, and I didn't realize that like most guys don't use that. And I was like, this is great. And then I was like, oh, no one else.
That's how you use it?
No one else does that. But it was so simple, but I was afraid of looking inexperienced in front of everybody else. It seemed like everybody else who was trying it could get right in there, and so I kept putting it off, and then today, actually, real story. I was like, you know what? I am tired of not doing this exercise because I'm afraid of failing. I'm just going to do it. And it went fine. But there was, even in that first moment, there was still a moment of discomfort. Now, I also went into the women's bathroom right before that by mistake. So I think at that point I was already like, what do I have to lose? Anyways, the point is discomfort, pain, is always going to be there with any big risky move you're going to do. Whether you start it today, whether you do it next year, whether you do it 4 years from now, that pain isn't going anywhere. And so at some point you have to get really honest with yourself and say, what's more important to me? Like really, what are my values? Is it better to put off this pain and not get where I want to be, or experience it, go through it, and then a year from now, I'm now achieving, what I've sought to achieve?
And for a lot of people, change doesn't happen for them because the pain of changing has to be less than the pain of staying the same. Yeah. And so to really get over that first hurdle, sometimes you just have to, what I'd always tell myself, one of my favorite things is do it anyway. And it's the title of one of my favorite songs by Ben Folds. Yeah. Ben Folds 5, actually. And it's just do it anyway. It became a mantra when I'm in the gym or I'm afraid to do something. You just got to do it anyway and face that pain.
Yep, absolutely.
So that brings us around to number 2, and that is breaking it down to the smallest step and taking it just one bite at a time. It's that whole, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? When I had bought my house, I wanted to put in a kitchen island and do a bunch of other renovations, and I had to build, the counter and all these things, and I kept getting stuck for weeks on end with a bunch of material in my kitchen. I thought, why is it I'm not getting anywhere? And it dawned on me that I was missing one small thing. It wasn't that I was procrastinating, is that I hadn't had all the pieces put together. I forgot my tape measure. So I wrote down all the tiny micro steps that I needed and put step 1, get my tape measure. And I had to go find the box it was in, open it up, take it out, and that just got me going. And, similarly, one of my biggest goals has been to be a world traveler, specifically to go to France. Since I was a kid, I've been studying the language, and I just love French culture, and even just getting out of the country. And the hurdle was something so small. It was just get a passport. And so step 1 was really, set aside the money, and then step 2 was to actually make the appointment. And so once that came, it was like the sky's the limit. I just last week a couple weeks ago, got back from Honduras, and right away I was like, okay, I got to get out of the country again. And so I thought, today is someday. Like we always have these someday dreams, and Paris and France were one of my someday dreams. And I thought, today is that someday, and that just got me the inspiration to get on, check out tickets, and just book a flight. Just do it.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk a lot in our videos. It's the second one, so we talk a lot doing ourselves. And you'll notice we talk a lot. This concept about the whirlwind of life, right? Life is so busy. We wake up, we have good intentions, and then the whirlwind of life comes through, and we just get sucked up in our daily tasks, drama, whatever's going on.
Thigh Master's
gone wrong. And if you're not intentional, if you're not thinking about what you really want, you can be very busy, but not really going after your dreams and what your achievements. And so many times when you break it down to a list and you can know what your first step is, that's all it takes, right? What is my very first step? And then once you've taken that first step, then you know you're already on that journey. So at that point, why not step 2? Why not step 3? Speaking of step 3, our third step, you like that?
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much, is not being afraid to start small. It's something that I heard from Brendon Burchard, and I really loved it because there's definitely a part of me, even in doing these videos, right? I want it to be like the people who have been doing it for years and have thousands of dollars invested in their production, and it's not. And it at times makes me feel like it's not good enough, right? Because it's not at that level. But this is only the second video I've been creating, and so if I was living my life according to how I used to live it, I would keep putting it off until it was perfect, and keep putting it off and keep putting it off, and before you know it, it would be 5 years. And I would never have been in the place that I'm at right now. So here we are. We're starting small. We're in Glenn's basement.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect.
Let's do it anyway.
Right, exactly. And I can't tell you how glad I am that we're doing it. Even though, again, I'm sure 10 years from now, I'm going to look back at this and be like, wow, we came a long way, but we'll have only come a long way if we started, right? And so, again, no one likes being the novice. No one likes being the one that is the least experienced. And yet we all have to be that person that just starts, whether it is, not your best effort. I give credit to the person that's doing it.
And another important thing is, I used to teach for a very brief period of time, guitar lessons to Aaron. And he brought this point up about something that I had said, which was about not worrying about, what was it? It was something about how you play and not worrying about
not playing the note perfectly, but getting in the rhythm of just playing.
Just plow through it,
playing the
and
notes.
you'll get better over time. And, I think a phrase that's very unuseful, if that's even a word, when you're starting out is, you don't want to remove this from your mind, is why can't I get this? If you're learning something new, you shouldn't have the expectation that you should already be here if you're first starting out. You should enjoy the small wins and enjoy the progress and love starting out small. Otherwise, it can really stunt your potential to really keep going with something that requires the long haul commitment to growth.
Right. Yeah. Again, there's many times I'll see people at the gym, and I think about myself when I first started working out. I didn't know what I was doing. I was starting small, but I'm so glad that I started. And you got to give credit to where credit is due. If you are on the journey, if you've taken your first step, then, to be honest with you, you're far more ahead than most people who have been thinking about it for years and years and haven't. And so if you're in that category now, right, there's a certain goal, a certain dream that you have, a certain wish, nothing is stopping you but yourself. And so take that first step, as small as, as much failure as might be a part of that first step. The reward is being on the journey, not watching from the sidelines. So let's do a little bit of a summary here then. So, talking about, again, getting started on your dreams and not waiting and not putting it off. The first one was front-loading the pain, right? Change is uncomfortable. There is no way around it. That level of pain, discomfort, possible failure, possible rejection isn't going anywhere.
So do it anyway.
Just do it.
Eat the frog.
Eat the frog or elephant. Eat a lot of animals.
Yeah,
when I hear the eat the
I'm
elephant,
sorry, vegetarians.
When I eat the elephant, I think it's a horrible. I guess it's like
disgusting.
And do you start at the back end?
You have to have pepper, salt and pepper.
You start with the butt, right?
I wouldn't.
You start with the head?
I mean, I
you
guess
start
if you're really
elephant's
start with the pain,
face?
front load the pain. I guess you're going to start at the back end.
It just seems more like, I don't know, not as polite. Second one, breaking it down to the smallest step, right? Taking it from the whirlwind, taking it from, oh my gosh, there's so many components. Okay, what are the components? List them out, right? And then start with the first one. Another thing that I like to tell people who are doing this is sometimes when you write all of the steps, there might be 30 or 40. Okay, fine. Find the first 5 and then hide the rest of the list. So you don't see that entire list and think, oh my gosh, this is too much, right?
Park it for later.
Take the first 5 that you need, take the first step. And then the last one, you can't be afraid to start small. Every great person, every person that you are idolizing right now that think, oh my gosh, if I could just be like them, their first step was a small step that could have been easily judged by anybody. And the only reason why they're at the place they're at right now is because they took it. And so can you.
So we're going to be doing a video like this each week, and we hope you enjoy this, and we plan on actually adding out more and more free content to go with this as we grow. So do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching.
I'll maybe get re-energized by the time.
Welcome to the Glenn and Aaron Show. I'm Glenn Allen.
I'm Aaron Salentine.
Today we're going to talk about 3 tips that are going to help you get to finally really blah, 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 blah.